Hey, we back, we back, we back. It's time to start recording. We're back, we're back, we're back. It's time to get recording. Let's do it. How history's greatest warriors died.
Alexander the Great. Alexander the Great had conquered everything from Greece to the edge of India before he turned 30. He'd never lost a single battle. He personally led cavalry.
Okay, so going back to the beginning, isn't like, let me see. I can't, I know this is Caesar, right? But I can't depict who any of these other people are, right? But who are the like most famous like figures or warriors? There's Alexander the Great, King Arthur, Lancelot, Caesar. Not sure if I can remember it. He probably name dropped them in this one. Spartans or the leader of the Spartans. I forgot his name. I think those are like the one of the greatest. You got Merlin too. Merlin, does Merlin count? Or maybe just like warriors or whatever. I think I'm just going off like the most popular figureheads in like those type of stories. Yeah.
Alexander the Great. Alexander the Great had conquered everything from Greece to the edge of India before he turned 30. He'd never lost a single battle. He'd personally led cavalry charges, absorbed arrows, sword cuts, and blows to the skull across years of near constant warfare, and came back fighting each time. His soldiers believed he was divine. He may have believed it too. Then he developed a fever in Babylon. In late May of 323 BC, after a prolonged night of banqueting and heavy drinking, Alexander fell violently ill. What followed was 11 days of steadily worsening fever. He lost his ability to speak. He lost his ability to move. His generals, desperate and anxious about succession, filed the entire army past his bed so each soldier could say goodbye. Alexander could no longer form words, but reportedly managed to raise a hand to acknowledge each man as he passed. On June 10, 323 BC, Alexander the Great died. He was 32 years old. The cause of death has been debated for over 2,000 years.
You wanna know it's so funny? No matter what, right? The greatest weapon anyone can have in this world, if you could have a superpower right now, a lot of people would choose super speed, super flight, invulnerability, all that, right? But right now, without like fictional superpowers, the only true superpower to have is poison. Think about it. Every single thing, big or small, besides humans, pretty much has poison in their pocket. Venoms are notorious for it, but like poison is almost a guaranteed W. Because once you stick them, then what? I mean, we technically do have poison now, because like you can like poison weapons and all that. But think back before like we like had actual working atoms and neutrons in our head, right? Before we had all that shit moved around and it was just like a stone in your head. We were just carrying around rocks in our pocket and shit. It was us versus Venom. Like no cap. It was literally nothing has a greater chance of winning a fight than Venom. Back in like when early humans, the dumb niggas, the really, really dumb niggas. Nothing had a greater advantage than having Venom. Like even ants, platypuses, right? The long nosed niggas, the Perrys, right? They got Venom too. How does everything in this world have Venom? Venom is like top shelf back in that time, bro. You had to, if you died from Venom, if you got hit with Venom, it was over. It was just over, just like that. You had to call it. You had to call it, right? You were almost guaranteed to die.
Typhoid fever, poisoning, the compounded damage.
It was 100% poison. One of his men poisoned him for sure. He didn't just fall ill, right? He was perfectly fine for 30 years, and once he's done all this shit, he just gets poisoned and just starts to get sick. Yeah, he got poisoned.
Damage of a decade of wounds, acute alcohol damage.
Wounds, his soldiers had to suffer the same wounds too. But he was the only one that got sick. Well, probably not the only one, but he's the only one that like technically died, I think. Or like didn't recover well.
Historians still argue. What isn't disputed is this. The man who conquered the known world died of a fever in a foreign city before he turned 33.
Right.
The empire he'd spent his life building fractured into civil war within months. He conquered everything except time. Hannibal Barca. Hannibal Barca.
No idea who this is. Absolutely no idea.
Crossed the Alps with war elephants and nearly destroyed Rome. His encirclement of a Roman army at Cannae in 216 BC.
Ooh, one of the rich. Who was that person that had like that giant horse and brought the horse into the people? I forgot his name. He was in not, why am I thinking Pooh Shiesty? I'm not thinking Pooh Shiesty. That's stupid. Peabody and Sherman. He was in Peabody and Sherman. Pooh Shiesty. I don't know why Pooh Shiesty came to my head. But I was thinking of Peabody and Sherman.
where 80,000 men were annihilated in a
Pretty sure that was the Romans.
single afternoon, remains one of the most studied tactical masterpieces in military history. Rome feared him for decades. Even after Carthage fell and Hannibal was driven into exile, they kept hunting him across the eastern Mediterranean. They could never leave him alone. By 183 BC, Hannibal was an aging man living under the protection of King Prusias I of Bithynia. Roman envoys arrived and demanded his extradition. The king agreed without hesitation. Roman soldiers surrounded Hannibal's house from every exit. Hannibal had anticipated this possibility for years. He kept poison sewn inside a ring just in case the day came. He took it. His reported last words were characteristically sharp. Let us relieve the Romans of their long anxiety, since they find it tedious to wait for an
Are we sure they spoke English? He's probably reading it off of like someone who knows the textual scripture. So that's I just thought he was like saying it in English. Like probably English and probably wasn't even that prominent back then. They were probably just making it.
old man's death. He was approximately 64 years old. The greatest general Rome ever faced chose his own ending rather than let Rome choose it for him. Even in death, he outmaneuvered them. Spartacus. Spartacus led
Was it Spartacus? Sparta? Yeah, I was talking about Sparta. I just said Spartans. Spartacus. Was that? I don't know. Let's see.
the largest slave revolt in Roman history, the
Mhm.
Third Servile War, commanding
Are you not entertained? Yeah, I saw a bit. I saw that.
an army built from nothing that defeated Roman legions repeatedly across nearly 3 years. He was a
Oh, my favorite part. My favorite part is when he got the ones with that little nigga. When he got to run the ones with him in the arena. Boy, that was. I love that scene so much. He needed that. He needed the ones. He needed the ones.
gladiator who became a general, a slave who came within reach of breaking Rome open entirely. He was killed in battle in 71 BC, and here is what makes it haunting. We don't know exactly how. When Marcus Crassus's legions finally crushed the slave army, Spartacus reportedly fought his way towards Crassus himself, cutting down 2 Roman centurions in the process before being surrounded and overwhelmed. His body was never formally identified on the battlefield. The Romans, who loved putting enemy heads on spikes as warnings, never produced his. He simply vanished into the carnage of the final battle. Anonymous at the end, buried somewhere among the thousands of dead, his remains indistinguishable from the men he had led. 6,000 of his surviving followers were crucified along the Appian Way, one cross every 100 feet for 350 miles. Spartacus himself got no cross. Just silence. Rome won the war. It never
Yo, when there was no cameras and devices and electronics, they would do anything. They would do anything, bro. People are I would say anybody from back in that day was more mentally insane than today. That's crazy. They would just do anything.
got the satisfaction of the man. Julius Caesar.
Mhm.
Julius Caesar had survived
Yo, yeah, they keep the way they did my boy at the end of his round was the biggest piece of bullshit I've ever seen. Fuck the nigga that betrayed him, right? But y'all had to jump this man. Y'all had to jump Caesar. He was really about that life too. He was prepared to run the ones. He saw his nigga on his opposition. He was like, "You too."
survived civil war, military conquests, and multiple political crises to become dictator of Rome in perpetuity. He was warned repeatedly. A soothsayer told him to beware the Ides of March. His wife Calpurnia had nightmares about his murder and begged him not to go. A written note identifying the conspirators was pressed into his hand as he walked to the Senate. He went anyway. He never read the note. On March 15th, 44 BC, more than 60 senators calling themselves the Liberators surrounded him in the Curia of Pompeii.
It was 60. Thought it was only like a handful, like 4 or 5 people that snuck in.
On the pretense of presenting a petition. Then the knives came out. The first blow grazed his neck. Caesar grabbed the blade with his bare hand and tried to fight back. He was immediately overwhelmed. He was stabbed 23 times. A Roman physician later concluded only 1 wound was actually lethal. 22 of the blows he could have survived. His assassins were so panicked and frantic in the moment that several accidentally stabbed each other in the chaos. Caesar fell
Y'all are ass. Hold up. So you're telling me they lured him away, planned to sneak this man, had weapons on hand, and y'all couldn't deliver a fatal blow? Y'all couldn't even hit bro in the heart on the chest properly? Y'all really missed?
Fell at the foot of a statue of Pompey, his old rival. Some accounts say he pulled his toga over his face as he went down, choosing to die with whatever dignity the moment still allowed. He was 55 years old, killed by his own senators in his own city in broad daylight. Attila the Hun. Attila the Hun had devastated everything from the Rhine to the Black Sea. He'd extracted enormous tribute from Rome and the Eastern Empire, earned the title Scourge of God, and terrified a continent for 2 decades. No army stopped Attila on the battlefield. What stopped him was a nosebleed on his wedding night. In late 453 AD, Attila took a new wife, a young woman named Ildiko. The wedding feast was enormous, as everything Attila did was enormous. Staggering amounts of food, wine, and celebration. He retired to bed with his new bride in the early hours of the next morning. He was found dead the next day, blood everywhere. He had suffered a severe nasal hemorrhage while deeply unconscious from drink, and drowned in his own blood. Some historians suspect poison. The timing was suspiciously...
Poison? No, you can't. You don't die like that from poison. Well, it depends on... No, it doesn't. You don't die from that, like that from poison. Okay, so it's either his wife did it or she didn't. I'm gonna probably say she didn't. He probably just died from like a disease or something.
convenient for Rome, which had spent years buying Attila off. No one was ever proven responsible. His body was placed in 3 nested coffins, gold, then silver, then iron. The soldiers who buried him were executed afterwards so the tomb's location would die with them. No one has found it. He vanished from the earth the same way he'd lived, leaving nothing behind he hadn't chosen to leave.
Okay, so that was how history's greatest warriors died. I knew I knew 2 of them, Alexander the Great and Caesar, right? They did both of them dirty. And it seems like to be a trend. Most of these people who do great or horrible things, I don't really like. It depends on how you look at the story because we don't really know how it really went back then. But good or bad, they all died from basically poison or betrayal. It was one of the 2. None of them died a normal death. I enjoyed the video. I really do. I love the animation style. It's simple and it's a short video. It explains it really quickly. Lets you understand the gist of it, so you don't have to really like go do your own research to fill in the blanks. Really good video, and I enjoyed that one.